Don't forget, a lot of people under 40 years old, maybe 35, somewhere in there, and younger, are being taught over and over all day long to decode people, understand people, categorize people really harshly, basically by left and right, like who they vote for. This is so deeply coded in the millennial down younger that they actually they have a series of beliefs ready to go. Not every single one, it's a blanket statement, but they have a series of beliefs ready to go where they place the person and then treat them accordingly. So in old business, they say assess the person, treat them accordingly. But if you don't vote, or if you don't play the game, or if you see through the puppeteering of politics, it doesn't matter. They still will put you in a world. And it's not, you know what? I am completely wrong. It is not just the millennials and younger. It is a lot of people. It just happened to me the other day. The guy must have been 60. So people who live in what I call the eye plateau, just the eye, they see only what they see. The media and what is coming at them is all they believe exists, kinda. So they live and die by this, and they need you to fall into place. Are you a leftist? Are you a right-wing crazy? Whatever that is, and it ruins the world. It really does, because as naive as racism is to me, I really believe racism is a sense of stupidity. You do the same thing, but you're not using the skin color or whatever to box someone in. You've decided that how they feel about ideologies is their entire personality. Now, I'm guilty of doing stupid shit too all the time, but this is the worst one for me. Everywhere I go in the world, because what they see is a 6 foot tall white American guy, not knowing that my father is often darker than all of the people who are usually casting judgment upon me. So because I have my mom's light skin, they don't know that I was loved by a dark leather brown man who I didn't think twice about. He was my dad. That's my love. And of broken English, non-American, immigrant, can't read, uneducated in a lot of ways, but extremely ingenious, extremely inspiring. I feel so blessed to have been loved and cared about and raised by the people who helped raise me, because I know that it's different because of the amount of, what would that be called? Kind of conflict that I've had in my life as mainstreamers, nothing wrong with that, as maybe more typical normal growth, a couple of American parents or whatever. They see me and boom, they put me in these places. Oh, you're this and you're that. And the beauty of being ignorant, which they say ignorance is bliss, I had no idea of any of these terms or their substantial, divisive power until I was about 35 years old, when the internet started spitting it out like every 10 minutes. So that's the truth. I don't vote. I don't partake anymore like I used to. And when I did, I never fell into some ideology. I've had two things that I'm very proud of. Well, there's three, but I won't share them all. When people started, my closest people, when my life kind of got attacked, started saying, "You're a liberal." I'm like, "I'm a liberal?" And then, "You're a Republican." I'm like, "I'm a Republican?" I had no idea who I am. And to tell you the truth, I am not a liberal or a Republican. I want nothing. That's just your projection onto me. But because I love people and I was confused, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just want to be and hang out with people. So I took a few tests, like the online test. 2 or 3 times, I believe. I can't remember. It was years and years ago. But it said I felt 0.02 to the right. So it was like I'm in the center. I would totally make sense to me because that's really who I am. Then one time, years ago, I got my brain tested, basically at to see if you're left brain or right brain, which part of your brain is most dominant. I believe I'm a creative artist, but I also know that I'm an entrepreneurial businessman and the same person. So I always, again, I'm going to tell you that I always believed I'm kind of like a center guy, right? If you need to have a spectrum, I'm center. Well, twice my brain was considered a whole brain thinking. Point zero zero something, I don't recall. It was point zero something to the right, the artist side. Very, very small trace to the right, but everyone will be like 4.0 to the left, 4.0 to the right. I found this to be completely reassuring, because this is how I've always been my whole life. I do it consciously, but I've also do it subconsciously. My subconscious or my unconscious is always walking in, basically in the center. I eat meat, but I hate seeing animals get butchered. You know what I mean? I protect women, but I don't see them as victims. I think your sexuality is your freedom, but I don't think it should be anywhere in elementary school conversations. And I can keep on going, but when they start getting nitpicky, I'm like, yo, that's for you, man. You need to do that because you can't understand me, because, with all due respect, you're using limiting tools. You can't build a Tartarian building with a chisel and a hammer. You're walking around with a chisel and a hammer. I'm extremely multidimensional internally, and I'm kind of different. I'm not. You could call me all different names, but this is why everything I've ever done, every group of people and all the work that I've ever done, always has a very weird ending, because people will just make an assumption that I don't even understand. When I tell people I'm a teacher, there's a group of people out there, especially in upper middle class society, they go, oh, he's a unionized public school. They have this thing. And they go, oh, and their families probably hated teachers or something. It's at the dinner table. I never experienced that. I was proud to be a teacher. They didn't like the fact that I turned that into a very big business, and then all of a sudden you see, they can't, they're stuck, not bad, I'm not talking about upper middle class white people. The idea that people create a mold, and then they put you in it, and they're that's where he belongs, because I can't handle really free or independent free-form thinking. And all I'm saying is, you gotta hate me. I prefer if you hate me than put me in some box. And then the worst is when people are extremely inebriated or really, really raging, angry. With all due respect, all those things often make you really dumb. And then I can't even be any kind of friends with you, because you're going to continually believe that, when you have 5 beers, that's who you really are. That's you. You're not chemically altered for the last 40 years. When you have 5 beers and you think you can take over the world, that's the truth serum. That's not my life. That's a chemical changing you. But people argue that differently. Don't put people in boxes. For your safety, understand who's violent. Sometimes use some higher order thinking to decode them. Maybe they are narcissistic. Maybe they have some trauma. But you don't have to put a fence around them. If they're coming at you, you're going to do that because you want to stop them. But I don't come at you. Leave me alone. Know that I'm Mr. C. I'm an actor. I like all kinds of stuff. I can rip with some of the best people in the music world, and I could get on the ground and play jacks with 4th graders, because I think they're almost more interesting than all these egocentric people in the world. The world is yours to experience. Evil will take you and put you in a little box, because they don't have the ability sometimes to do the things I just said. So feel bad for them. Don't put me in that box. I invented so many programs to help the well-being of young people that evil wants you to think that I'm a bad guy around young people. That's them. That's what happened to them, and that's what they maybe do. I don't do that. But once you make a successful business, if you make a successful business selling meatballs, your meatball competitor is going to tell everybody, that's not meat, man. That's skunk. The guy killed skunks. You know why? Because their meatballs suck.